Braid is a great game. Originally released for Xbox Live Arcade in 2008, Braid is a puzzle platformer developed by indie studio Number None, led by designer Jonathan Blow. It was published by Microsoft Game Studios during its Xbox Live Summer of Arcade. Super Mario Bros. Jumps out immediately as a very general gameplay inspiration, since Braid is a platformer, after all. The protagonist runs and jumps, and defeats enemies by landing on their heads. There is even a bemused, somewhat befuddled, cute character at the end of each level who helpfully informs the player that the princess, alas, is in another castle. All of this is comfortably familiar. Even Braid's clever use of time manipulation is not new to video games. The Prince of Persia series might provide the best known examples of messing with time in a video game setting. Another lesser known, but still very fun example is the first-person shooter Time Shift. Braid's story, however, despite its familiar quest for a princess, veers sharply away from standard gaming stories, dealing with broken relationships. But more on that later. Braid's art contrasts beautiful, detailed, painterly backgrounds for each stage with retro-inspired, not quite pixel art for the foreground elements, characters, and animations. The main character, Tim, looks as though he would fit in almost perfectly in a 16-bit adventure, but the very smooth animations of his sport coat, tie, and hair as he moves indicate his HD-era debut. The unlikely combination of art styles is both at times unsettling and captivating, which fits in perfectly with Braid's overall tone. The music of Braid, licensed from several different composers, is at times playful and pastoral, and melancholy and mystical. Each track is easy on the ears, and the title music is especially mesmerizing. Braid's sound effects aren't especially numerous or distinctive, which is just fine, but one that does stick out is the rewind effect. As the player rewinds time to correct a mistake or solve a puzzle, the music performs an abrupt volte-face, perfectly capturing the rupture in the very fabric of time itself. Braid weaves a tale that is very compelling, if at times a little pretentious and ambiguous. The story centers on Tim, who is searching for a lost princess, and is told mainly through text, with one very important in-game scene at the end. The tone of the writing shifts between moments of self-centered, almost teenage angst, and heart-rending, mature insights on failed relationships. Although the writing is a little uneven, the game's ending ties everything together in a way that gives the player a stunning new perspective on everything previously experienced. Braid's ending is simply one of the best conclusions in any video game I have ever played. Although Braid's story is absolutely essential, the gameplay is what elevates Braid to its exalted position as one of the best indie games of all time. While the platforming is fairly simple, the puzzles are absolutely devious, and the mechanics used to solve them are ingenious. To complete the story, players must find all the puzzle pieces located in each world, and besides using the ability to run and jump to find these pieces, Tim can also manipulate time. He can rewind to correct a mistake, or place objects or enemies in the necessary location. Some objects or enemies highlighted with a green glow, are out of phase and are not affected by time manipulation. Tim also possesses a ring, which slows anything that enters its area of effect. But the most incredible power, for me at least, is Tim's ability to send out a shadow of himself that will copy his previous actions. That one still messes with my mind. Players are gradually introduced to each mechanic, but some puzzles require complex combinations of platforming and time manipulation that made me scream with outrage and shake my head with admiration at the same time. Braid's puzzles don't just tease your brain, they mock it mercilessly. Braid earned top marks upon its release and currently holds a Metacritic score of 93. The game's success also secured a well-deserved place among the legends of game design for its creator and designer, Jonathan Blow. His achievement also inspired a whole new generation of indie game developers. Braid breathed new life into the indie game market, proving that you didn't need a gigantic infrastructure to create a high-quality gaming experience. Braid's ingenious puzzles, mind-blowing gameplay mechanics, and unforgettable story rips apart time itself to find its place as one of the great games.